Good morning. I'm Kristin Omdahl and welcome back to Yarn on the Beach. We are in Southwest Florida at Bonita Beach watching the sunrise over the buildings and the trees, and this is the Gulf of Mexico behind me. Hi Kimberly, if you're joining me live, please say good morning and let me know you're here, and also tell me if you're crafting this morning. I'd love to hear what you're working on. Hi Judy. It is, let's see, hi Sherry, hi Elisa, hi Sarah May, hi Karen. How's everybody today? It's hazy down here today. There's like a hazy cloud cover even over the sun. Little strange. Maybe storm's coming. Hi Lisa, hi Judy, hi Martha, hi Melissa, Sherry, Elsa. Thanks for joining me live, everyone. We're at Bonita Beach this morning, so where there's just one little turtle protection area. It's sunny where KB's at this morning. Thanks, Lisa. This is the same shirt. Hi, Mike. This is the same shirt that I've worn in other colors. It's that batwing top. That batwing, see it's fitted more in the waist. Batwing, cold shoulder, and it's under $15 and in my Amazon shop. I bought it in a couple of the bright colors as well as the black and the darker purple. The other color I got is orange. I thought it was going to be more coral, and it's definitely more bright orange, so I'm wrapping my head around wearing it. I'm going to try it out one day, but I think I need to wait until I have some white bottoms to wear with it. But I love this green. I love it a lot. It's super cute. So thank you. And it goes well with berry. I like wearing lime green with either. I think it looks great with dark blue, so I think it looks great with denim. I think it looks great with white. I think it looks great with khaki or like that not quite white color. So any of your khakis or light beiges would look really great with it too. What else? Black, it looks great with black. It looks great with white. And then bright colors look great with bright colors, I think. So your hot pinks, your turquoises, corals, I think those colors always look good with lime green too. Which reminds me, I brought yarn to show you this morning. I have a new color of Be So Soulful sock yarn in lime green also. This is called Lime, and it has splashes of berry, of a pink in it. And similar to the splashes of purple in the turquoise color called Splash. And then I have the pink coral back in stock too. But I kind of thought it was funny that these kind of match. So I guess I'm not in a lime vibe this week, so this is the first time I've dyed any of my yarns with this color, so you can imagine that lime is probably going to show up in some more variegated colors coming soon. I'm just totally into lime green right now, and it took me a couple of attempts to combine colors to get the color just right. Came out a little bit too yellow at first, and then I needed to add some blue to it. It's so fun mixing colors for dyeing, because the dyes don't come in the color that I want them. They come in, standard colors. And so to get a color that I'm looking for, I have to mix colors, and it's so fun. So much fun. So anyway, so that was one thing I wanted to show you this morning, was that these two colors are back in stock for Be So Soulful. There's Splash, which is turquoise with a splash of purple. There's the pink coral, and then there's the brand new color called Lime, which has splashes of pink. So put that to the side, and in case anybody's wondering about my pink accessories that I mentioned were I think complementary to wearing a bright lime green top, and that would be my crystal chain necklace, which is a free pattern on my website. It is also a video here on YouTube, and I have a kit where you can buy the crystals and the yarn together. My earrings are also a free pattern and video. These are made out of 32 gauge metallic or 32 gauge wire, And they're just a simple crochet medallion. Hopefully that shows up. So easy to make. 32 gauge is by far the easiest wire to work with because it's so thin. So it is a good beginner way to work with wire because it's so easy to manipulate. It's almost as easy to work with as yarn, and from there you go to the smaller numbers for the stiffer metal and you can make some really amazing things, but there's a learning curve to working with wire just like with anything else. The wire is not at my KristinOmdahl.com shop, but it is in my Amazon shop. So if you go to amazon.com/shop/Kristin Omdahl or follow the link in the video description, you can find it in my shop there. This pattern that I was talking about the other day is going to be live on my website later today. I took photos of it yesterday and we'll have the pattern. So the video's already done and I'll just combine it all into one blog post so you'll have all the links in one spot. Thanks, Donna. And this takes only a half a ball of Be So Soulful yarn, so you could either make it twice as big or you could make two and make two gifts out of one ball. How great is that? Super cute. And this is worked lengthwise, which is the easiest way to do delta stitch. The hardest parts are the edges, so doing it lengthwise means you only have 3 rows to do and you can finish a scarf. How great is that? That also tells me that this would be a fantastic baby blanket or afghan or shawl. Imagine doing this in a rectangular wrap, just doing those long rows and even changing color. Imagine doing this in stripes. This is crocheted. It's crocheted in the delta stitch. But isn't that beautiful? I mean, I can think of 10 different things off the top of my head that I would love to see. I mean, once you did it this wide, you could go, can you see how wide it is? So once you did the first row, you could just continue on for 3 rows for a scarf, for, I don't know, maybe 20 for a wrap, continue on till it's a square for a baby blanket, and continue on, you know, much longer than that to make it a throw for your couch. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Yep, I showed you how to do this in the round. This stitch pattern in the round for the hat and then in rows for this. So this will now be the scarf and photo that goes with that tutorial. I wrote the tutorial 2 ways but only showed swatches for the one in rows, this one. So now we'll have a little pattern to complement the tutorial. Good morning, Cindy. Hi, Letty and Raina and Ruthie and Jenny. Thank you all for joining me live. Hi Carol, I'm glad you're here live too. That's great. You're welcome, Lisa. Oh, that man did have a green shirt on. I didn't notice. I guess it's the color today. It is a beautiful morning here. It's a little hazy and we're probably getting stormed early today. It's usually lighter, you know, clearer in the morning and then gets stormy in the afternoon. So when it starts stormy in the morning, it's likely that it's here for the day. So we'll see. But I've got to work indoors all day anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. It's good for the plants and the trees. Hi Marissa. Hi Cindy. Okay, so where are we here? I did not make it to do any videos for the Birch Fest yesterday, so I'm still in process. Oh, Audrey, I drank one of my, I buy the green juice at Publix when it's buy one, get one, and I buy these little bottles of it, so I did have a green juice this morning. But I'm not at the beach that's close to that juice bar, so I don't go I only go when I like to go to the juice bar when I've gone to Vanderbilt Beach, because it's on the way there. But yes, I did have my green juice this morning. Oh, and I have my green tea too. I found one of my lids. I found one of the lids to my Redbubble travel mugs. So I'm drinking organic green tea with a big giant slice of lemon inside. I wish you had a juice bar too, Jenny. Do you have a Whole Foods or any grocery store like that? Because sometimes they have a raw juice bar inside. Or do you have any Lebanese restaurants where you live? They usually have, or sometimes have, a raw juice bar too. Raina wishes she had a beach close by. I wish you did too. Only at Kroger's. You know, I wonder if Kroger sells the same brand of juices that I buy. I'll post a photo of mine on Instagram later today. See if your Kroger carries it. It would be where the refrigerated orange juices are carried. If they have any sort of specialty drinks over there, I get an apple cider vinegar drink over there, and I get a probiotic raw juice drink over there. I'll post photos of them later. And at my store, they go BOGO sometimes, buy one get one, and so then they're about $2 a piece. They do have natural juices. Okay, that's where I buy these. Oh, Bianca, yeah, that looks fun, doesn't it? I haven't soaked in the water in, oh, so long. There's people over there doing it too. This time of year, the water is so warm. Thanks, Raina. Hello from Brazil. Thanks for joining me. Thanks, Karen. Karen, this is one of the tops that I've been wearing in black and a darker color, darker purple. It's one of the tops in my Amazon shop. It's under $15, and it's that batwing top that has the open shoulder. So you can find more information about it if you go to my Amazon shop. Hi from Poland. The water is very clear this morning. You can see right through to the seashells and the bed. Oh, it feels good to drink tea at the beach again. Do you see lots of colors in the water? Just said, oh, geez. Someone said they're saying their message a second time and it scrolled too fast. It looks like a mirror. Okay, well from here, I can see different colors throughout. Like it starts more greenish, and then it goes to a blue, and then it goes back to green, and then it goes back to blue. The green is pretty light, not quite a harbor fog. It's more green than the harbor fog colorway of blue, of Be So Fine. And then the blue actually is deep blue, like a blue Danube in Be So Fine. I think it's so fun to have a yarn that has so many colors that I can reference them when talking about colors everywhere else. It's fun. Because then it's something we're all familiar with, right? When you have a familiar base of colors, then you can compare things to those colors. Good morning, everyone. So happy to see so many people here this morning. I mean, in the clouds in there, you can almost see a little bit of Caribbean turquoise too. Let's see, let me turn it this way. You can almost see a little bit of Caribbean turquoise between where the clouds are whiter and when they go darker gray. It definitely goes a little turquoisey in there. Hopefully you can see the color variations in the water too. Someone sees purple. Oh wow, that's awesome. Oh, in the sky I do see a little bit. Definitely on the blue violet side, not the red violet side of purple. It is a dramatic sky this morning. Yes, very much so. Morning. Let's see, where were we in our swatches? I believe I had started doing rows of half double crochet. This is another thing that I could tell you about with this one. When doing rows or rounds of stitches, you actually have two options when doing your starting chain at the beginning of the row. Actually, you might even have three options. So with single crochet, we always know that we chain one at the beginning of the row, and you chain one at the beginning of the row and you don't count it as a stitch. When you go into half double crochet and then go on again to the other taller stitches from there, you have the option of doing the number of chains to represent the height of the stitch. Well, that's actually a requirement, but then how tall you make it has something to do with whether or not you're going to count it as a stitch. Yana wants to know if it's safe to swim here. It depends on who you talk to. If you talk to fishermen, sometimes they say no. And I'm gonna sneeze. Sometimes fishermen say no. Sometimes they say yes. We don't have a whole lot of aggressive, dangerous snakes or sharks here. But we do have some. But we don't have a lot of shark bite stories. So yes, the possibility is there, but most people swim here very safely. So it depends on how technical you want to be about it, but in general, I would say that people find it to be very safe to swim here. Does that answer your question? Maybe a little too technically. Okay, so chain one is a requirement for rows of single crochet. Chain two is the requirement for half double crochet. And chain three is the requirement slash option for double crochet. And the reason I say it like that is because if you want to do a chain and not count it as a stitch, you would do the shorter version of it. If you want to do the chain and count it as the stitch, you would do the taller version of it. So for example, I'm doing half double crochet rows right now. If I want to not count my chain space as a stitch, I would chain one and work a half double crochet in each stitch across. If I want to count my chain as a stitch, I will do chain two, skip the first stitch, and count it as a stitch and move along. And so on a row of double crochet, you would do a chain two to not count it as a stitch, or a chain three and count it as your first stitch and skip that first stitch. Please let me know if anybody has any questions about that. Because it's important stuff. It seems kind of cumbersome to say it, so it's probably hard to understand also, so please feel welcome to ask any questions about that. That's okay, Sarah May. If row counters work for you, that's great. Whatever works for you is good. The key is the things that work for you, right? 79 in Germany. That sounds nice. And it's later in the day too, right? So that's a high temperature. I'm guessing you're about 6 hours ahead of us. The loop at the end of the row could be that you're making a longer chain. If I'm going to join strips of crochet, I'll do an even longer chain so that I have loops to join, kind of like a modified Bruges lace. No, that would be for working in rounds as well as rows. If you're working in rounds and you do the shorter chain and not count it as a stitch, you will then skip it when you're slip stitching to the first stitch at the beginning of the round. Does that make sense? see a couple of yeses. Morning. Some people think that when you do that shorter chain when working in the round and skip it when joining the round, that you lose that line from joining the round. Another way to avoid that is to work in a spiral instead. I like that way of working in the round. But there's a ton of variations on all this out there, and for every person you talk to, I'm sure they have other tips and tricks too. It's just whatever you feel comfortable with and what you feel like doing. The beach is busy today. If you don't slip stitch, does the circle circumference grow and grow? Well, if you don't slip stitch to join, you end up working in a spiral. That's the difference. The only way your circumference grows is by adding increases. If you don't add increases, you make a tube. There are a ton of bugs down here this morning too. The joining line bothers someone else too. Yeah, you can work in a spiral then. The key to starting a spiral is starting with a shorter stitch at the beginning of your first round and ending with your preferred stitch at the end of the round so that you have that diagonal line. And then from there on out, you work your rounds in whatever stitch, like, so let's say you wanted to do a circle of double crochet, but you wanted to work it in a spiral instead of in rounds that join with that slip stitch chain 3. So you would start your first round with a single crochet, a half double crochet, and then a double crochet, and continue your round in double crochet. And make sure that you place a stitch marker, or are really diligent about counting, which even for obsessive counters like me can be challenging in a spiral. You want to make sure you mark the beginning and end of your round so you know where the spiral begins the next round. And then you'll just work normally as though you didn't start with single and half double. You'll work everything in double crochet, and you won't have to deal with the spiral aspect of it until you get to the end of your project. So at that point, you'll then need to decrease back down again to kind of even it out, because you're going to have a jog, right? You're going to have a double crochet standing up from the edge because you've worked in a spiral. So then you would do half double crochet, single crochet, and slip stitch to bring that diagonal back down. I can't keep my camera from, let's see, maybe that'll help. Someone else uses stitch markers for spirals. Yeah, it's near impossible for me to remember. Kristin, you inspire me to crochet again. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Karen. Are you still knitting too? No, I don't know if I've heard of fake double crochet, but I haven't looked it up. But again, there's a gazillion options out there. I'm only naming a couple, and there's tons more out there. There's more options than I think you could have time to do anything with. Yeah, there's tons out there. You could learn a new stitch every day and go for years, I would imagine. You know, sometimes it's a balance between finding what you like and focusing on it and finding new things, right? It gets overwhelming. That's great, Dawn. Yes, Judy, that's true. other countries call the same stitches by different names, and that can get confusing too, especially when trying to find patterns on the internet. You have to be sure you understand which country the pattern was written in, even within English. As far as I know though, charts are charts. So what appears to be a double crochet in any language, whether it's called a double crochet or not, will look like a double crochet in a chart. No, yarn is never boring. Who knew, right? Brenda's finishing Morgana shawl and then on to Kimmy top. Great. Thank you. I forgot to make my bug spray again. It's funny, I get reminded when I'm at the beach. How does that work? Oh, well, I'll get to it. You can use any yarn for any project, Letty. That's a great question. Any yarn for any project. The key is knowing what the gauge is. If you need to go up in hook size, down in hook size, if you like the fabric it creates or you don't like the fabric it creates. There is no yarn that you can't try to do a project in. The key is getting the right gauge or accepting the fact that you will get a different sized or a different draped project. But yes, you can try any project in any yarn. Just the only thing is that you may get different results, that's all. Okay, Cindy. You know, even if you start the project in Karen Simply Soft just to learn the stitches because it's a yarn that you're familiar with and comfortable with, that's a great way to learn something new also. I really like to encourage students to try a new stitch or a new project in a yarn and a yarn weight that's already in their wheelhouse, because then they're only learning one thing at a time. And then once you do, if you decide you don't like that yarn for that project, you've at least practiced the stitches, understood the project, and then can apply what you've learned to a different yarn. So there's no bad reason to practice something. There's no wrong way to practice new stitches. Thanks, Faye. Somebody said Lotta did something good. I want to know what it was. Would somebody let me know? Lotta, what'd you do? Oh yeah, you can get really bad bugs down here too. Yes, that is true. I think it's from being in the water sometimes. But I do need to make my bug spray. Maybe hearing about the article you read will help me. Oh, I read an article this morning that we have an infestation of green iguanas down here. I know they're herbivores and they're not dangerous, but they're giant green lizards this color of my shirt. And if I saw one at my front door, I would freak out. Someone else practices with cheaper yarn too. Good, it's great. It's a great way to learn new stuff. I have no trouble with that. I think you should always practice in whatever your wheelhouse is. If worsted weight yarn is your wheelhouse and what you know the best, that's where you practice new stuff. You add in thinner yarns or delicate yarns or expensive yarns that you don't want to make mistakes on, as many mistakes on, you add those in after you learn something in your wheelhouse. Yeah, better than snakes. I know they're better than snakes, but they're huge, and they're cute in pictures. And they're actually beautiful, I know that, but they're reptiles. You have earwigs and ants. I don't even know what earwigs are. Did I put what in the Ravelry group? I don't know. Oh, Lotta made 2 Morganas and can't stop. I guess technically I've made 3 too. I made 2 for the Morgana cold shoulder top and 1 for the shawl. I also have another idea for it. I really need to make 2 more because I have an idea for making it into a halter dress. But I need 2 pieces done in order to drape them, in order to be able to see if the idea in my head will work. But yes, of course Marlon likes iguanas. He likes every reptile on the planet. He loves sharks, and he loves dinosaurs, and he loves all predators. Yeah, so I have this idea for taking 2 half hexagon shawls, and I don't even have the shape to show you right now, but I can kind of tell you. Okay, so let's say you have a half hexagon, comes up like this. Here's your long line, your 2 short lines, and your 3rd short line. Okay, so let's call those sides A, B, and C, right? A, B, C, and D. So if you put B from belly button to spine, then you would have A and C come up here, and D would come here, right? And then you do the same thing on this side, so then side A's would get sewn to here, and side C's would get sewn up your spine, and then they would open for a halter top, and you would have to join the 2 tips somewhere at your shoulders. Now I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but I think it would work. And if it ends up being too long in any one of those places, or too loosey-goosey, you would then do some decrease stitches. Like I have a feeling that under the arms, you'll need some decrease stitches. And then you'll need some sort of a hem or fringe or something for the lower part of the skirt. But I have a feeling this is going to work for a dress. Oh yeah, Marissa's shawl is beautiful and fun. Somebody in my knitting group, Elisa, I don't know if she's here this morning still, she pops in and out, but Elisa is working on the Marissa shawl, and she did it in, I think, lavender and ice silver fox and chantilly lace, and it's beautiful, so beautiful. Yeah, I think I'm going to hold off on my half hexagon idea for the dress until I really want to do a skirt and dress book. Something that I've dreamed of doing forever, and no publisher would ever say yes to it because I didn't think there was a market for it. And I happen to think that crochet and knit lace skirts and dresses are some of the prettiest things you can ever make. Yes, there will be new crochet alongs and knit alongs. Yes, there will be. I haven't decided that. Yeah, but everything's coming. Everything's coming at the right time. How's that for an answer? Wow, good for you, Ellen. She just finished all her works in progress, or her WIPs. Very nice. You need a new project. I love dresses and skirts in knitting and crochet, but yes, I agree with you, whoever said that. Oh, she has 4 others. That's okay that you're making progress. It's wonderful. It feels great to finish projects. It felt great wrapping up my latest book and sending it to my editor. That felt like a huge accomplishment, and it was such a large bulk of items sitting around my office that got to get all tidied up and cleaned out, so that was really exciting too. And now I have to keep thinking about my vision for the photography for this book, and obviously I have a deadline. I have to decide by the time the editor's done, but I think I'm getting closer to coming up with my idea for the photography on this one. I think it's going to be different than the last book. Ellen. I'm glad you're choosing one of my patterns. Thank you. Making some progress on my half double crochet rows. Hi, Cebu. Thanks, Jenny. I do too. I love the idea of a Zen book, and I've started put my thinking cap on about it and trying to decide if it should be knit and crochet or just or separated out into two separate books. But I already have some wonderful ideas for it. There's always something new in every world, Tina. As long as we continue to be creative, we will constantly come up with new ways to do things. Isn't it great? And everybody has creativity inside. It's just about finding it. Ooh, it's warm out here. Whoa, we went long today too. It's 36 minutes. How did that happen? I'm sorry if I kept anybody too late. Told you I can't see my screen today. All right, well, let's take this last minute here, everybody, and look out at this magnificent view. Soak in the colors, the sounds of these waves, and set our intentions for the day. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed the sunrise, the sound of the waves, the colors of the beach, chatting with me and everyone else here. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.